Hi everybody, this is Miss Nelson here again, and we are going to do our chapter review test for Chapter 6 in our Go Math book. Chapter 6 has been all about the different strategies that we can use to solve a division problem. I'm just going to go through the whole test so that you can have kind of an explanation for the answers that you'll get when you look back at what you've done yourself. Okay, so number 1 and number 2 have the directions. Use a number line or repeated subtraction to divide. When you take this test in my classroom, I tell you I don't care what strategy you use to solve the problems as long as you show me your work and you get the correct answer. So if you like to use something besides a number line or repeated subtraction, such as the traditional way to solve a division problem or making groups or using base 10 blocks, if you like to do that better than a number line or repeated subtraction, that's fine with me as long as I get to see your work and you have the correct answer. But I will go ahead and use repeated subtraction to show you number 1. 124 divided by 20. So what you do is you just write 124 minus 20 like a regular subtraction problem, and you're going to keep subtracting 20 from your answers until you get as close to 0 as you possibly can without going past 0. So 124 minus 20 is 104. Then I keep subtracting 20. 104 minus 20, this is 4. I've got to borrow over here. This becomes 8. 84 minus 20 is 64. 64 minus 20 is 44. 44 minus 20 is 24. 24 minus 20 is 4. And that's as far as I go, because if I subtract 20 from 4, I'll go to negative numbers below 0. So what's left over here, the leftover thing is called our remainder, and we put an R to show that's a remainder. Now to find out how many times we subtracted, which will give us our answer, you can count your subtraction signs or count your 20s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've subtracted 6 times and I have a remainder of 4 left over. So my answer to 124 divided by 20 is 6, remainder 4. Alright, next problem. I have 15. I'm sorry, let me change my tools real quick so I'm not distracted. 315 divided by 15. I will do, I don't think I want to use a number line or repeated subtraction for this. I think I'm going to show you the strategy of base 10 blocks. Well, no. Since it's written the traditional way, let's just go ahead and do it the traditional way. So I'll write it over here for you to see. 315 divided by 15. So in the traditional way, remember we first ask ourselves how many times does 15 fit into 3? 15 cannot fit into 3. It's bigger than 3, so we put a 0. So then we ask ourselves how many times does 15 fit into 31? 15 can fit into 31 2 times. 2 times 15 was 30. So now we subtract. 31 minus 30 is 1. We bring down our 5, so now we have 15 here. And we ask ourselves, how many times does 15 fit into 15? It fits in 1 time perfectly. 1 times 15 is 15. So when we subtract 15 minus 15, we get 0. We have no remainder left over. So our answer up here is 21. So 315 divided by 15 is 21. All right, get my eraser over here and my pencil, and now we're down here. Number 3 and number 4 have the same directions. It says write a related multiplication sentence. So they've given us part of 2 division sentences, and they want us to write multiplication sentences. In order to write the multiplication sentences, I'm going to have to solve these 2 problems first so that we can get our third number to use in the multiplication sentence. So 39 divided by 3. We can do this a couple of different ways. We can do 3 groups, and we can put a dot in each one until we count up to 39. That would kind of take a little bit of time though. So we could do another way is we could use base 10 blocks. We could draw 3 groups, and we can draw base 10 blocks for 39, which would be in the tens place, there's 3, so we draw 3 tens. And in the ones place, there's 9, so we draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I've changed my 39 into base 10 blocks, and then we can give those out evenly into each of these 3 circles because it said divided by 3. So I have 3 10 sticks. That's perfect because I have 3 circles. So I've used these 3 10 sticks. Now I have 9 ones that I have to split up. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect, it ends up perfect. I don't have any left over. I used all 9 of those. So now if I look inside of each group, that's going to be my answer. 1 10 stick, so I put a 1 in the tens place, and 3 ones, so I put a 3 in the ones place. So my answer is 13. But I'm not done yet because the directions tell me to write a multiplication sentence that's related. Related means it's in the same family. So just like our fact families that we practiced, we use these same 3 numbers to write a multiplication sentence. So we have to have the number 39, 3, and 13 in our multiplication sentence. And remember we said all we have to do is take this big number was going to be our answer or our product. So we'll write equals 39, and then we can take these 2 numbers and put them in any order we want because multiplication is commutative. You can switch the numbers around. So 3 times 13 equals 39, or I could have also written 13 times 3 equals 39. Okay, let's do the same thing with number 4 because it has the same directions. So we have 56 divided by 4. We'll use the same method of base 10 blocks. I'm going to draw 4 because we're dividing by 4 groups here. And we have to do 56. So I'm going to draw, there's a 5 in the tens place, so I need 5 10 sticks. And there's a 6 in the ones place, so I need 6 ones. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I have 5 10 sticks, but I only have 4 groups. So I'm going to take those first 4 and spread them out evenly because remember each of our groups has to be even amongst the 4 groups. So I've used these 4. I have 1 left over. It's not fair to give it to just 1 group, so I'm going to break up this 10 stick into 10 more ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I have a total of 10 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 ones. So I'm going to give those out equally to these groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And that ended perfectly as well. We have no remainders. So I count what's inside, and that's my answer. 1 10 stick, so 1 in the tens place. 4 ones, so 4 in the ones place. My answer is 14. Now I have the 3 numbers that I need to make my multiplication sentence. Remember, this big number is going to be your product, so it's going to say equals 56. And then I can take the other 2 numbers and put them in any order since multiplication is commutative, and multiply them together to get 56. So I can say 4 times 14 equals 56, or 14 times 4 equals 56. Okay, let me erase this stuff, and we can move on to number 5 and 6. Numbers 5 and 6 have the same directions. They say choose a method and divide. So any method that you like, you can use for this. So the first one is 17 divided by 2. So I can draw 2 groups, and since I only have 17, I think I'll just do dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now I can't give the 17th one to this one because then this one wouldn't have it. It wouldn't be fair. So I'm going to just leave that 1 left over as my remainder. So this has a remainder of 1. And now if we count inside, we should have our answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 remainder of 1. Okay, next one is 362 divided by 3. I don't want to do repeated subtraction because I'm starting with a huge number here, and subtracting 3 would take me forever to do repeated subtraction. I can use base 10 blocks, or I think another one that I can do would be just do it the traditional way. We'll practice doing it the traditional way this time. So we have 362 divided by 3. I ask myself, how many times does 3 fit into 3? Well, it fits in perfectly 1 time. 1 times 3 was 3. So when I subtract, I'll have a 0 here. Then I bring down my 6. I ask myself, how many times does 3 fit into 6? 3 fits into 6 2 times. 2 times the 3 was 6 exactly. So when I subtract, I'll have 0 again. Bring down my 2. I ask myself, how many times does 3 fit into 2? It can't fit into 2. It's bigger than 2. So I put 0 up here. It fits in 0 times. 0 times 3 is 0. So when I subtract, I'll have 2 left over, so my remainder is 2. So here is where I put my remainder, and then I look up here for my answer. My answer was 120. So 120 with a remainder of 2. Okie dokie. Second page of this test starts our word problems. Let me go up here and add in our second page, which, just 1 second, should be down here somewhere. It should be right here. Okay, second page. There are 96 tourists who have signed up to tour the island. Let me get my different pencil. The tourists are assigned to 6 equal-sized groups. So 96 are divided into 6 equal groups. Which of the following cannot be used to find the number of tourists in each group? Pay very careful attention to cannot. So 3 of these are going to be able to give us the answer of 96, but 1 of them is not. The way that I would solve this is to just simply do the math. I'd go starting at A and see if 6 times 6 plus 6 times 10 actually gives me 96. 6 times 6, 36. Ooh. And 6 times 10, 60. If that equals 96, then A could be used. So 36 plus 6 is 6, and 9, yes, it does equal 96. So it can't possibly be this one because it can be used. So let's check out B. 6 times 18 and 6 times 2, if we add those two partial products together, does it give us 96? Let's see, 18 times 6. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 1 plus 4 is 108. So we already have 108, and then we also have to do 6 times 2, which is 12. 108 plus 12, that's going to be way more than 96. 8 plus 2 is 10. 1 plus 1 is 2. 120. That is not right. So it is the cannot. So your answer here should be B. But just to make sure, let's try and make sure that C and D equal 96. So C says 6 times 16. Let's see if that gives us 96. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Yes, that one's correct. And we're trying to find the incorrect one, or the one that cannot be used, so it can't be C. So D, let's see if this works out to 96. 6 times 12. 6 times 12. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we have 72, but then we also have to add 6 times 4 to that. I already know that 6 times 4 is 24, so I'm going to add 72 and 24 and see if it gives us 96. 2 plus 4 is 6, 7 plus 2 is 9. Yep, it equals 96. So this is correct, but we're looking for the one that's incorrect or cannot, so we were right. Our answer should be B for number 7. Okay, let me erase this and we'll move on to number 8. Number 8 says Maria Elena needs to share the base 10 blocks equally, these base 10 blocks equally among 4 equal groups. So I'm going to divide whatever this is by 4. So let's figure out what this is in the first place. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 4 ones is 64. So my problem is 64 divided by 4. And we have to find our answer, and then we have to translate that into base 10 blocks. So we'll just go ahead and do this in base 10 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we had 6 10 sticks, but we only have 4 groups. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I use these first 4, and I have 2 left over. I can't hand those out because 2 groups wouldn't have them, and that's not fair. So I'm going to change these into 20 more ones. So 20 more ones plus the 4 that we already have give us 24 ones that we have to split up into these groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now I've used them all up. So now I have to see this picture, which one matches that picture out of my choices. So I need to find one with one stick, or 1 10 stick, I mean. So it can't be this. All the others do have a 10 stick. And then we have to find the one that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. This doesn't have any ones. This only has 4 ones. This does have 6 ones. So our answer is I. Okie dokie. Erase this, and we'll get our next page, which is right here. And we're moving on. Okay. Now, number 9 says, 42 bridges connect the Florida Keys. The Key West Bridge is 159 feet long. There are 3 feet in a yard. How many yards long is the bridge? So we don't need to know this 42 bridges. That has nothing to do with our problem. The information that we need to use is the Key West Bridge because it wants to know how many yards is the Key West Bridge. If it's 159 feet and there's 3 yards in each foot, we have to take 159 and divide it by 3. I'm going to do this one the traditional way. 159 divided by 3. I asked myself, how many times does 3 fit into 1? It can't. It's bigger than 1. So how many times does 3 fit into 15? 3 can fit into 15 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15 exactly. So when I subtract 15 minus 15, I'll have 0. Bring down my 9 and ask myself, how many times does 3 fit into 9? 3 can fit into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9 exactly. So when I subtract, I'm going to have 0 as my remainder. So my answer is 53. 53 is right here, C. Okay, number 10. Manny has 24 rocks. He wants to put the same number of rocks into each of 12 boxes. Which sentence shows how many rocks will be in each box? So it's asking us to find how many rocks in each box. So our answer here, they all say 2, but we have to find the one that says rocks in each box. Here's the one that says rocks in each box. So when I divided 24 by 12, I got 2. And my answer had to be rocks in each box. Be careful that you don't get tricked and just see a 2 and pick F without reading the other ones first. We already know how many boxes we have. It can't be F because it says we'd have 2 boxes. But it already told us in our problem we have 12 boxes. We had no remainder when we divided 24 by 12. We just had 2. 24 divided by 12 is 2. There's no remainder, so we wouldn't have any boxes left over. Here's the one that says rocks in each box, and we were asked rocks in each box. That's why it has to be H. Okay, so H, fill in H, and we are on number 11 already. Okay, number 11 says, Gail's travel album holds 3 postcards on each page. If she wants to put 45 postcards in her album, how many pages will she need? So she has a total of 45 postcards, and if she divides them by 3, because there can fit 3 on each page, that'll tell us how many pages she needs. I'm going to do this the traditional way again. 45 divided by 3. I ask myself, how many times does 3 fit into 4? It fits in 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. So when I subtract 4 minus 3, I have a 1. I bring down my 5, and I ask myself, how many times does 3 fit into 15? 3 fits into 15 5 times. 5 times 3 is exactly 15. So when I subtract 15 minus 15, I have 0 remaining. So my answer is 15A. Okay, we are on our last page. Let me put it in here for you, and we are almost done. Add an image. And it should be this last one right here. And our last page. On Wednesday, 240 books were checked out at the school library. If each student checked out 2 books, which one of these expressions can you use to find the total number of students who checked out books? 240, and it said each student, so those 240 are being split up by 2 each. So we're dividing by 2, or you can rewrite it, 240 divided by 2, and we can find that one over here, I. It doesn't even ask you to solve it. It just asks you how do you write it in an expression. So they want you to be able to pick out the numbers from here and know how to write it into a division sentence. Okay, now we have a model. This is the number line model. We haven't used this very much, but you can use a number line as a strategy to find an answer to a division problem. And we have the problem 165 divided by 25. So when you use a number line, what you do is your number that you're going to divide goes here at the end. They all have 165 there. So far, all of them could be used. And then you go backwards 25 as many times as you can to get as close to 0 as possible. Now, if you look at these number lines, they're all the same, 140, 140, 140, 115, 115, 115, 115, 90, 90, 90, 90, 65, 65, 65. Oh, this one doesn't go back to 65, so they just stopped at 90. They didn't keep subtracting 25. You can still subtract 25 from 90. So they just quit early. So it can't possibly be D. They quit too early. 90 minus 25, we'd have to borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 2 is 65. So these ones were correct that went back to 65. We can still subtract 25 from 65. So 5 minus 5 is 0. 6 minus 2 is 4. So the next hop back should land us at 40. 40, 40. This one didn't go back to 40. It quit early too, so it can't be C. So now we're down to these two. Can we subtract 25 from 40, or should we just stop here like this one did? I think we can subtract 25 from 40. Let's see, can't do 0 minus 5, so we borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1, 15. Yep, we could subtract 25. So this one stopped too early. This one hopped back to 15. Now we can't subtract 25 from 15 because we go lower than 0. So this one stopped here at 15. See, the hops stop at 15. So this answer is correct, A. This is how you model with a number line, 165 divided by 25. And we are now on our last problem. Ooh, that's a long test. Okay, Kevin and two friends are playing a game of cards. So Kevin and two friends, how many people is that altogether? 3. There are 52 cards in a deck, and Kevin wants each player to receive the same number of cards. So he wants to split up those 52 amongst the 3 people that are playing equally. So he's dividing. How many cards will each player receive and how many will be left over? So we have the problem 52 divided by 3. Don't forget to count Kevin, or else you would do 52 divided by 2, and that would give you the wrong answer. So 52 divided by 3. I could do 3 groups and use base 10 blocks, or even if I wanted to, I could just make 52 dots. Or I could do repeated subtraction, start at 53 and keep subtracting 3 until I got as close to 0 as possible. Or I could draw a number line like up here. Or I could use the traditional way. I'm going to use the traditional way because I think that it's the quickest and the easiest. So I have 52 divided by 3. I ask myself, how many times does 3 fit into 5? It can fit in 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. So when I subtract 5 minus 3, I get 2. I have to bring down my 2. So now I have 22 here, and I ask myself, how many times does 3 fit into 22? Well, let's see, we can do that by counting by 3s until we get as close to 22 as possible. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So I counted by 3s 7 times. 7 times 3 was 21. That was where I stopped. So now when I subtract 22 minus 21, I have a remainder of 1. Remainder 1. So my answer is 17, remainder of 1. So when I look at my choices over here, the one that says 17 with 1 card left over, that's the same as 17, remainder of 1. So my answer should be G. All right, and that's the end of Chapter 6 test on division. I hope you do well on your division test. Any questions or comments, go ahead and leave me a message.